You know that feeling, right? When you're just stuck in your own head, replaying a conversation over and over, second-guessing a decision you just made, or just spinning out about something that hasn't even happened yet. It's like being on a mental hamster wheel, and it feels absolutely impossible to get off. Well, today, we are going to break down exactly why our minds get stuck in those loops and, more importantly, how we can get out. And let's get specific here. Think about your relationships for a second. Have you ever found yourself caught in one of those thought loops where just one tiny thing happens and suddenly it triggers this huge cascade of negative assumptions? It's an incredibly common thing, and honestly, it can be pretty painful. Here's a perfect example of what I mean. A really simple event, right? Your partner comes home late. But in your head, it spins into this whole story about being neglected, about not being a priority. These kinds of automatic negative thoughts are just fueled by anxiety, and they can multiply so fast that they completely change how we see the person we love. So, this mental habit of getting stuck, of playing the same painful ideas on a loop without ever getting anywhere, it's not just overthinking. It actually has a clinical name. It's called rumination. The American Psychological Association defines it as obsessional thinking involving excessive, repetitive thoughts that interfere with other forms of mental activity. And that last part? That's the key. This isn't about productive problem solving. This is a thought loop that completely hijacks your mental energy and can turn a simple worry into a whole way of life. Now, here's what's really interesting. Rumination isn't just one single thing. It actually shows up in a few distinct patterns, and most of us have a go-to cycle that we fall into. So let's go through them and see if you recognize your own pattern. Okay, first up, there's the blame cycle. This one is all about the past. Your thoughts are either convinced you've been treated unfairly, or you're turning all that blame inward, basically attacking yourself. It's like you've put on these glasses where any event that confirms your own flaws, or maybe your partner's, gets magnified, and everything else just gets tuned out. Next, we have control. This cycle is completely focused on the future. Your mind is just locked onto one specific outcome that you feel has to happen. And there's often this moral edge to it, right? A belief that things are either black or white, and you're the one who knows the right way forward. Then there's the doubt cycle. This is just a relentless search for certainty in situations where, let's be honest, there is none. Good times feel like they're about to end, and you're constantly looking for evidence to back up your decisions, which ironically just creates more doubt. And over time, you just stop trusting your own gut. The worry cycle, well, this one is just ruled by fear. Your mind is constantly jumping to the absolute worst-case scenario. And it feels like a defense mechanism, doesn't it? You convince yourself that if you just prepare for the worst thing imaginable, you'll somehow be safe. But really, all it does is pull you into a future that hasn't happened and honestly probably never will. And finally, we have the self-pity cycle. Here, your thoughts are really focused on you as a victim. You feel helpless, like life is just unfair and there's nothing you can do. And often underneath all that, there's this quiet, unacknowledged hope that if you just lean into this role, someone somewhere will come and rescue you. So, okay, we've seen the patterns, but what is actually going on in our brains when we get stuck like this? Because, and this is so important, this isn't just a character flaw. It's a real physical, neurological pattern. See, overthinking literally sends parts of your brain into overdrive. Think of your prefrontal cortex as your brain's CEO. It's trying to make good decisions, but it just gets totally overwhelmed with too many options. At the same time, your amygdala, which is like the brain's alarm system, is just ringing off the hook with anxiety. This creates a feedback loop where more stress leads to more overthinking, and the part of your brain that's supposed to help you take action, it just gets stuck in neutral. Okay, so our brains are basically in overdrive. And knowing that is actually really powerful because it means we can learn how to apply the brakes. So the big question is, how do we actually do it? So here's the thing. The solution isn't to fight your thoughts or try to force them to stop. It's about developing a totally new way of responding to them. Let's walk through a 4-step process that's all about building awareness instead of resistance. Here's how it works. First, you see. You just pause and you see the thought as a thought, not as the absolute truth. Second, you label it. You give it a name, like, okay, this is the worry cycle, or, yep, that's a blame thought. Then you open. You shift your focus from your head down into your body. What are you physically feeling? Is there a tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? And finally, you welcome, and this is the bravest step. Instead of pushing that feeling away, you get curious. You ask, what's underneath this? And you just welcome whatever vulnerability is there without any judgment. That four-step process is incredibly powerful for doing that deeper work. But what about when you're just stuck in decision paralysis right now and you just need to break free? Let's stock your mental toolkit with some quick, rapid response strategies. You can try the 5-second rule. Literally count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just physically move to interrupt that hesitation. Or you can set a time limit. Give yourself just 10 minutes to make a choice. Another great tool is to just narrow your options down to 2 or 3. That helps avoid overwhelming your brain. You can also ask that classic perspective shifting question. Will this even matter in 5 years? And finally, never ever underestimate the power of your own body. Just a few slow, deep breaths can calm down your brain's alarm system and give you some clarity. All of these tools, from the deep internal work to these quick practical tips, are all pointing toward one final, really fundamental shift in how we see things. It's a move away from wrestling with your thoughts and toward a new relationship with them altogether. And here it is. The ultimate goal is not to get rid of unsettling thoughts. It's to change your relationship to them. It's about pivoting from endlessly thinking about the moments that throw you off balance to learning how to simply be with the feelings they bring up, right here in this moment. So I'll just leave you with this question.